The Sportsman's Table, brought to you by the South Carolina Department of Agriculture. By South Carolina, nothing's fresher, nothing's finer.
Well, folks, my guest this week is Executive Chef Jason Halawaz. He is the Executive Chef at Gervais and Vine over in Columbia, down in the Vista. This is an awesome recipe. You got some great ingredients. Let's get started with this one because I know folks are going to love it.
It's pretty easy to do. It's anything anybody can do at home, especially if they live near the coast, because it's a lot of things that are readily available. People don't really utilize clams as much as they should here in South Carolina. It's really one of our better seafood crops.
Okay, now this is what?
This, I'm sorry, the butter was hot, so right now what I'm doing is I'm putting in some Lexington County Rawls Farms leeks into it. They've been thinly sliced up, and then I'm going to wait just a little bit for them to start getting soft. And then I'm going to add some fresh, really thinly sliced garlic into it as well.
Well, Jason, you've got clams, you've got sausage. Now, what do you call this dish?
This is a take on a Spanish dish of clams and pork. It's using the chorizo sausage, which is traditional of Spain. Except this is one that's made from heritage pork from North Carolina, out of a company out of local, fairly local, out of Greensboro. And it's got a high paprika and garlic and spice flavor content to it. It's got a good bit of grease into it that'll end up giving out into it to give it some good flavor.
Then we've got fresh clams from the coast.
Fresh clams, Charleston clams. They are one of our big money crops down here in our state. A lot of them actually get sent out of state and put into like Campbell's soup or somebody else's clam chowder that make their way back to our state some way else. But if you can get your hands on them, they're super easy, super delicious, and they make a great light supper for summertime.
And I see you got some garlic over there.
I do. Let's get the garlic in there. That's the time for it now. Once they start getting a little translucent. You don't want to put garlic in too early because garlic's going to burn. I mean, no matter what, once garlic burns, there's nothing you can do about it. It's bitter. You've gone past the point of saving it. So always put that in near the end. Not really near the end per se, but middle side.
I got you. And folks, if you want a copy of Jason's recipe, log on to our website at bobredfern.com and you'll be able to cook up this wonderful South Carolina clam recipe.
Clams are one of the important things about clams is you have to it's for each clam when you're doing your clams, you have to soak them in a little bit of cornstarch or cornmeal water to help purge the clams. It's salt, a little bit of salt, fresh water, and if you can do it in seawater, it's even better. But a little bit of cornmeal will help take the grit that's underneath the clams out. He'll replace it with the cornmeal.
Now, how do I know when these are done? They're going to open up?
They will open up. They will open up. But even when they open up, sometimes they'll give you like a little. They'll open, but they're not really quite done. So normally when you're cooking your clams, I like them all to open up. Then I'll add butter at the end stage, the tomatoes at the end stage, and then cover it back up and then let it sit so that it all comes back together and they slowly finally finish up.
I got you.
So with that, and then in goes the gosa.
Oh, there we go. Gosa makes it all good.
It makes it all good.
There you go.
And then I don't have the proper lid right now, so I'm making a little camping lid here.
There you go.
You know how it goes. You make do with what you got.
There you go.
And we'll just get him. Hang on, let me get a little better on this one. There we go. And we'll let them go it's going to take about 5, 7, 8 minutes. You want them to really start coming up to a boil, and then you're going to end up checking on them. So we'll give them just a little bit of time. Bob, this is our final dish, and I like to finish it off with just adding a little bit of fresh tomato at the end to give it a little extra brightness.
More John's Island tomatoes.
More John's Island tomatoes, and garnish it up with, this is a freshly toasted ciabatta bread that's then been rubbed with the tops of the heirloom tomatoes to give it a little extra flavor on it.
That's great. And this is a recipe that you serve?
We do. This goes on we run it a couple times a week. We'll put it on there, and then it's really one of my favorite specials.
Well, Jason, thank you so much. We appreciate
you,
you being a guest this week. And folks, listen, if you would like more great food and recipes just like you saw today, log on to CertifiedSCGrown.com and see for yourself what's fresh on the menu. And remember, by South Carolina, it's a matter of taste.
If you would like to have this recipe and others featured on this program, visit our website at www.bobredfern.com.